The Roman Empire stands as one of history's most remarkable achievements in economic organization and commercial innovation. From humble beginnings as a small settlement on the Tiber River, Rome grew to command an empire that, at its height in the 2nd century AD, encompassed more than 2 million square miles and governed between 60 to 70 million people. To truly understand the magnitude of Rome's economic miracle, we must transport ourselves to a world where the Mediterranean Sea served as the epicenter of civilization. In this world, Rome created an unprecedented economic system that would not be matched in scope and sophistication until the modern era. From the fog-shrouded forests of Britain to the sun-baked sands of Egypt, from the Atlantic coast of Morocco to the fertile valleys of Mesopotamia, a single economic network pulsed with vitality. The foundation of this economic marvel was laid during the Republic, but it reached its zenith during the Pax Romana, the Roman peace, which began with Emperor Augustus in 27 BCE. This period of relative stability and prosperity allowed trade to flourish on an unprecedented scale. Cities grew larger than ever before, some reaching populations of hundreds of thousands, a scale that wouldn't be seen again in Europe until the Industrial Revolution. Rome's economic system was built upon several revolutionary concepts. The empire standardized weights, measures, and currency across vast territories, making trade simpler and more reliable. They developed sophisticated banking systems, including complex financial instruments like loans and investments. The Romans also created an intricate network of roads and sea routes that connected distant markets, allowing goods to flow more freely than ever before in human history. The scale of Roman commerce was staggering. Ships carrying tons of grain from Egypt fed the citizens of Rome. Spanish silver filled imperial coffers. Fine silks from China adorned wealthy patricians. Olive oil from North Africa lit the lamps of Britain. This wasn't just trade. It was the lifeblood of an empire that had transformed dozens of distinct regions and cultures into a single, interconnected economic organism. Perhaps most remarkably, the Romans achieved this economic integration without modern technology. They coordinated vast commercial networks, using nothing more sophisticated than written records and human messengers. They built harbors, warehouses, and roads that would last for millennia, using only human and animal power. They created financial systems that would influence banking practices well into the medieval period and beyond. This economic system supported not just trade, but also unprecedented urban development, massive architectural projects, and the largest standing army the world had yet seen. It funded the construction of aqueducts, temples, and public buildings whose ruins still inspire awe today. It enabled a standard of living for its elite that wouldn't be matched for over 1,000 years after its fall. The story of Rome's economy is not just a tale of coins and commodities. It's a testament to human ingenuity and organizational capability. It demonstrates how economics can shape empires, transform societies, and create connections that transcend cultural and geographic boundaries. As we explore deeper into this remarkable system, we'll uncover innovations that continue to influence our world today, and perhaps learn lessons that remain relevant in our modern global economy. The geographical expanse of the Roman economic system was unprecedented in human history up to that point. At its height, the empire encompassed an area of approximately 5 million square kilometers, creating a vast single market that operated under unified laws, currency, and trade regulations. From Hadrian's Wall in northern Britain to the upper reaches of the Nile, from the Atlantic coast of Morocco to the Euphrates River, this massive territory became history's first genuine example of large-scale economic integration. The Mediterranean Sea, dubbed by the Romans as Mare Nostrum or Bar Sea, served as the beating heart of this economic system. This vast body of water acted as a natural superhighway, connecting major trading hubs like Alexandria, Carthage, Ostia, and Constantinople. The Mediterranean's relatively calm waters and predictable wind patterns enabled year-round shipping, though maritime trade peaked during the sailing season from April to October, when weather conditions were most favorable. The empire's economic structure was built upon 3 primary geographical zones, each playing a crucial role in the overall system. The first zone comprised the heavily urbanized regions around the Mediterranean coast, where major cities served as commercial and financial centers. The second zone consisted of the agricultural heartlands, including the fertile valleys of Egypt, North Africa, and the Po Valley in Italy, which provided the vital grain supplies that fed the empire's massive population. The third zone encompassed the frontier regions, rich in natural resources and acting as both military buffers and trading interfaces with peoples beyond the empire's borders. Within this vast territory, Rome developed a sophisticated economic hierarchy of cities and regions. At the apex stood Rome itself, the largest consumer market in the ancient world, with a population exceeding 1 million at its height. Below this were major regional capitals like Alexandria, Antioch, and Carthage, each serving as crucial nodes in the empire's commercial network. These were followed by hundreds of smaller cities and towns, each playing its role in the complex web of trade and production. The structural organization of this economic system was remarkably advanced. The Romans developed an intricate network of specialized production centers. For instance, North African cities specialized in olive oil production, Egyptian Alexandria in paper and grain, Syrian cities in glass and purple dye, and Spanish regions in mining and metallurgy. This specialization led to economies of scale and efficiency levels that wouldn't be seen again until the Industrial Revolution. The empire's economic structure was supported by sophisticated institutional frameworks. A system of commercial law, the ius gentium, provided legal protection for merchants and enabled complex business transactions across different regions. Banking networks facilitated the transfer of large sums of money between cities, while warehouses and storage facilities in major ports enabled the stockpiling and distribution of goods on an unprecedented scale. Infrastructure played a crucial role in this economic geography. The Romans constructed over 250,000 miles of paved roads, creating a transportation network that would remain unmatched until the 18th century. These roads were complemented by an elaborate system of way stations, bridges, and harbors. Major ports like Ostia, Puteoli, and Alexandria featured advanced facilities including lighthouses, breakwaters, and massive warehouses, some capable of storing millions of tons of goods. The empire's economic structure also included sophisticated systems for resource management. Mines, quarries, and forests were carefully managed to ensure sustainable exploitation. Agricultural lands were surveyed and categorized for taxation purposes. Water resources were managed through complex systems of aqueducts and irrigation works, enabling intensive agriculture in regions that would otherwise have been marginally productive. This geographical and structural organization created an economic system of remarkable resilience and efficiency. Despite the technological limitations of the ancient world, the Romans managed to create and maintain a complex economy that supported unprecedented levels of urbanization and specialized production, while facilitating trade over vast distances with remarkable reliability. The scale and sophistication of this system would not be matched again in Europe until well into the modern era. The Roman Empire's trade network was a marvel of ancient engineering and organization, creating an interconnected web of commerce that spanned 3 continents. The Mediterranean Sea formed the core of this vast trading system, with thousands of merchant vessels plying its waters in an intricate dance of supply and demand that would define commerce for centuries to come. Maritime trade was the lifeblood of the empire's economy. The Romans developed sophisticated shipbuilding techniques, creating vessels capable of carrying up to 1,000 tons of cargo. The famous grain ships of Alexandria were technological marvels of their time, some reaching lengths of 180 feet, their massive hulls designed to transport the vital wheat harvests that fed Rome's burgeoning population. These ships would sail in convoys, taking advantage of seasonal winds to maintain regular schedules between major ports. The variety of goods that moved across these maritime routes was staggering. From the ports of Egypt came not only grain but also papyrus, glass, and linen. The eastern provinces supplied silk from China, spices from India, and aromatics from Arabia. These luxury goods traveled along the famous Silk Road before reaching Roman merchants in Syrian ports like Antioch and Berytus. North African provinces exported exotic animals for the arena, precious woods, and ivory, while also being the empire's breadbasket alongside Egypt. Hispania was renowned for its olive oil, which was shipped in distinctive amphoras that archaeologists still find scattered across former Roman territories. The region also exported garum, a fermented fish sauce that was the ketchup of its day, found on every Roman table from Britain to Syria. The mines of Hispania yielded silver, copper, and lead, crucial metals that fueled the empire's economy and military machine. From Gaul came fine wines, ceramics, and glass, while Britain provided tin, wool, and hunting dogs prized throughout the empire. The Balkans and Dacia were crucial sources of gold and silver, their mines producing the precious metals that backed Roman currency. The eastern provinces, particularly Syria and Egypt, were centers of textile production, creating fine linens and purple-dyed fabrics that commanded astronomical prices. The slave trade, though morally repugnant to modern sensibilities, was an integral part of the Roman economy. Slaves came from all corners of the empire and beyond, through warfare, piracy, and trade. They worked in every sector of the economy, from agricultural estates to urban workshops, mines, and households. The scale of this human trafficking was enormous, with some historians estimating that slaves constituted up to 30% of Italy's population during the empire's height. Trade was facilitated by an unprecedented level of standardization. The Romans established standard weights and measures across their territories, created a uniform currency system, and developed sophisticated commercial law. Merchants could rely on standardized contracts and legal protections, while banking networks allowed for the transfer of large sums of money between different parts of the empire without physically moving coins. The Romans also revolutionized the infrastructure of trade. They built massive warehouses called horia in major ports and cities, some of which could store enough grain to feed hundreds of thousands of people. They developed sophisticated harbor facilities with breakwaters, lighthouses, and cranes for loading and unloading cargo. The port of Ostia, Rome's main harbor, was an engineering marvel with artificial harbors, warehouses, and offices for merchants from across the empire. This trading system was supported by an intricate network of professionals. Merchants organized themselves into collegia, or guilds, which provided mutual support and maintained standards. Specialized traders dealt in specific commodities. The negotiators frumentarii traded in grain, while the negotiators venerii specialized in wine. Financial agents called argentarii provided banking services, while numularii tested the quality of coins. The scale of this trade was truly remarkable. Archaeologists have found Roman goods as far away as India and China, while Chinese silk and Indian spices regularly reached Roman markets. The volume of trade was so significant that archaeologists can still trace major Roman trade routes by following the trails of shipwrecks and discarded amphoras on the Mediterranean seabed. This sophisticated trading system created a level of economic integration that wouldn't be seen again until the modern era. It enabled specialization and economies of scale, supported urbanization at unprecedented levels, and created a standard of living for its elite that wouldn't be matched for over a millennium after its fall. The monetary system of the Roman Empire stands as one of the most sophisticated financial arrangements of the ancient world, introducing innovations that would influence economic practices for millennia to come. At its heart was the denarius, a silver coin that became the standard currency across vast territories, facilitating trade and economic integration on an unprecedented scale. The Roman approach to currency was revolutionary for its time. They created a systematic, standardized coinage system that combined precious metals in fixed ratios. The golden aureus, the silver denarius, and various bronze and copper coins formed a comprehensive monetary system that could handle transactions of any size, from buying daily bread to financing maritime trading ventures. The Roman mint operated with remarkable sophistication. Coins were struck with incredible precision for their era, featuring detailed portraits of emperors and symbolic imagery that served both as propaganda and as anti-counterfeiting measures. The standardization of weight and purity in Roman coins was crucial for maintaining trust in the currency across the empire's vast territories. Banking in the Roman Empire reached levels of complexity that wouldn't be seen again until the Renaissance. Professional bankers, known as argentarii, operated from permanent offices in cities throughout the empire. They accepted deposits, made loans, and provided credit to merchants and entrepreneurs. These bankers developed sophisticated financial instruments, including checks and promissory notes, allowing merchants to transfer large sums of money without physically moving coins. The Romans also pioneered several banking innovations that we still use today. They developed the concept of deposit banking, where individuals could deposit their money for safekeeping and earn interest. Bankers would then lend these deposits to others at higher interest rates, creating a rudimentary form of fractional reserve banking. They even established international banking networks, allowing merchants to deposit money in one city and withdraw it in another, greatly facilitating long-distance trade. Financial record-keeping reached new heights of sophistication under the Romans. They developed detailed accounting practices, including the use of ledgers and daily cash books. Every significant transaction was recorded, and many bankers maintained extensive archives. The Romans also introduced the practice of regular auditing, particularly for public finances, helping to maintain accountability in financial matters. The empire's monetary system also featured sophisticated mechanisms for managing the money supply. The imperial government carefully controlled the minting of coins, adjusting the supply of money in circulation to maintain economic stability. They understood the relationship between money supply and prices, although they sometimes struggled to maintain this balance, particularly during periods of imperial crisis. One of the most remarkable aspects of Roman financial innovation was their development of commercial law. They created legal frameworks for financial transactions that included concepts we still use today, such as contracts, partnerships, and corporations. The Romans developed laws governing everything from interest rates to bankruptcy, creating a predictable environment for commerce and finance. However, the system wasn't without its challenges. During the later empire, debasement of the currency became a serious problem as emperors reduced the precious metal content of coins to finance military campaigns and public works. This led to inflation and economic instability, particularly in the 3rd century CE. Yet even these challenges spawned financial innovations as Romans developed sophisticated methods for dealing with changing currency values and economic uncertainty. The Roman monetary and financial system also facilitated social mobility to some extent. Successful bankers and financiers could amass significant wealth and influence, though they never quite achieved the social status of the landed aristocracy. This created a dynamic commercial class that helped drive economic innovation and growth throughout the empire. The legacy of Roman monetary and financial innovations continued long after the empire's fall. Their banking practices influenced medieval Italian banking, which in turn shaped modern financial systems. Their emphasis on standardized currency and legal frameworks for financial transactions established principles that remain relevant today. Even their struggles with inflation and currency debasement provide valuable lessons for modern economic management. The sophistication of Roman financial systems demonstrates that complex economic institutions aren't unique to the modern world. 2,000 years ago, the Romans created a monetary and financial system that supported an empire of unprecedented size and complexity, laying the groundwork for many of the financial practices we take for granted today. The social and economic structures of the Roman Empire formed an intricate tapestry where social status, wealth, and economic activity were deeply intertwined. This complex system created a unique societal framework that supported one of history's most enduring empires, demonstrating how economic roles and social hierarchy worked together to maintain imperial stability and prosperity. At the apex of Roman society stood the senatorial class, whose members were required by law to maintain a minimum wealth qualification and were technically restricted from direct engagement in commerce. However, these wealthy patricians found ways to invest their fortunes through intermediaries and freedmen, often financing maritime trade, large-scale agriculture, and mining operations. Their vast estates, called latifundia, dominated the agricultural landscape and served as significant centers of production. Below the senators, the equestrian order represented Rome's commercial elite. These knights formed the empire's business class, engaging directly in trade, tax collection, and state contracts. They managed large-scale commercial operations, organized trading expeditions, and often served as financial intermediaries. The equestrians played a crucial role in bridging the gap between the highest echelons of society and the commercial world, effectively keeping the empire's economic wheels turning. The middle stratum of Roman society consisted of merchants, craftsmen, and skilled workers who often organized themselves into collegia, or guilds. These professional associations served multiple functions. They regulated trade practices, provided mutual support for members, maintained quality standards, and even performed important social and religious functions. The collegia system created a sophisticated network of economic relationships that helped stabilize urban economies throughout the empire. Freedmen, former slaves who had gained their liberty, played a particularly dynamic role in the Roman economy. Many became successful entrepreneurs, using skills learned during their enslavement and connections maintained with their former masters to establish profitable businesses. Some freedmen amassed considerable wealth, though social prejudices often limited their ability to translate economic success into elevated social status. The Roman economy relied heavily on slavery, a morally repugnant institution, that nonetheless served as a fundamental economic pillar. Slaves worked in every sector of the economy, as agricultural laborers on large estates, as skilled craftsmen in urban workshops, as miners in the empire's vast mining operations, and as domestic servants in wealthy households. Some slaves, particularly those with administrative or commercial skills, operated as business managers for their masters, handling complex financial transactions and overseeing commercial operations. The taxation system formed another crucial element of Rome's social and economic structure. Tax collection was systematized across the empire, with different regions paying taxes in different forms based on their primary products. Egypt, for instance, paid primarily in grain, while other provinces paid in currency or other goods. The publicani, private contractors often from the equestrian class, managed tax collection in many regions, creating a complex relationship between state finance and private enterprise. Manufacturing in the Roman Empire operated on a scale that wouldn't be seen again until the Industrial Revolution. Large-scale production facilities created everything from ceramic goods to glass, textiles, and metal products. These operations often combined slave labor with free workers, creating complex social relationships within the manufacturing sector. Some facilities, like the massive brick and tile works near Rome, operated on an industrial scale, producing standardized products that were shipped throughout the empire. Agriculture remained the foundation of the Roman economy, with a sophisticated system of production that combined large estates with smaller farms. The latifundia system, based on slave labor, coexisted with smaller farms worked by free peasants and tenant farmers. This agricultural system was remarkably efficient, producing surplus goods that supported the empire's large urban populations and extensive military forces. Urban centers played a crucial role in this social and economic structure. Cities served as administrative centers, marketplaces, and manufacturing hubs. They featured sophisticated commercial districts with specialized shops, workshops, and warehouses. The urban economy created opportunities for social mobility, particularly for freedmen and skilled artisans who could accumulate wealth through commerce and manufacturing. The Roman state itself was a major economic actor, engaging in large-scale construction projects, maintaining the army, and managing the grain supply for major cities. These activities created a form of state capitalism that interacted with private enterprise in complex ways. The government maintained strategic control over certain industries, particularly mining and weapons production, while allowing private enterprise considerable freedom in other sectors. This intricate social and economic structure created a remarkably stable system that sustained the empire for centuries. It allowed for a degree of social mobility while maintaining social order, facilitated economic specialization and trade while ensuring basic stability, and created a framework for both state control and private initiative. Understanding this structure helps explain both the longevity of the Roman Empire and its eventual transformation as these social and economic relationships evolved over time. The legacy of these structures can still be seen in modern societies, particularly in the relationship between social status and economic activity, the role of professional associations, and the interaction between state and private enterprise. The Roman example demonstrates how complex social and economic structures can work together to create a resilient and dynamic society. While the Roman Empire achieved remarkable economic successes, it also faced significant challenges that tested its resilience and adaptability. These challenges reveal both the vulnerabilities of ancient economic systems and the innovative solutions developed to address them, providing valuable insights into how complex economies handle systemic stress. Inflation emerged as one of the most severe economic challenges, particularly during the 3rd century CE. The problem began with a series of emperors who debased the currency to finance military campaigns and public expenditures. The silver content in the denarius, once over 90%, gradually declined to less than 5%. This debasement led to a dramatic increase in prices, with some estimates suggesting inflation rates of over 1,000% during the worst periods. The resulting economic chaos undermined trade, savings, and public confidence in the monetary system. To combat inflation, various emperors attempted currency reforms. Emperor Diocletian's price edict of 301 CE represented one of history's first attempts at comprehensive price control, though it ultimately proved unsuccessful. More effective were the monetary reforms of Constantine, who introduced the solid gold solidus, which maintained its weight and purity for centuries, becoming the standard currency of late antiquity and the early medieval period. Managing the empire's vast trade network presented another formidable challenge. The sheer scale of Roman commerce required sophisticated coordination across thousands of miles, multiple climate zones, and diverse cultural regions. Transportation delays, communication difficulties, and regional disruptions could severely impact supply chains. Pirates and bandits posed constant threats to trade routes, requiring significant military resources for protection. The Romans developed innovative solutions to these logistical challenges. They created a sophisticated system of warehouses and distribution centers, established regular shipping schedules based on seasonal weather patterns, and maintained detailed records of trade flows. The government also invested heavily in infrastructure, building and maintaining ports, roads, and way stations to facilitate commerce. The economic strain of maintaining a massive standing army became increasingly problematic over time. The military consumed an enormous portion of the empire's resources, requiring regular payment for soldiers, constant supply of equipment and provisions, and significant infrastructure investment along the frontiers. During periods of expansion, these costs could be offset by the acquisition of new territories and resources, but defensive warfare proved far more expensive without compensating gains. To address military costs, the Romans implemented various fiscal reforms. They developed more efficient taxation systems, created military colonies that could partially support themselves through agriculture, and eventually established a system where frontier troops were locally recruited and supplied. However, these solutions often created their own problems, such as increased tax burden on the civilian population and the gradual militarization of frontier societies. The empire's dependence on slave labor represented both an economic strength and a significant vulnerability. While slaves provided crucial workforce in agriculture, mining, and manufacturing, the system required constant replenishment through warfare or trade. As the empire's expansion slowed, the supply of new slaves decreased, driving up prices and forcing adaptations in the labor system. In response to changing labor conditions, the Romans gradually developed new forms of labor organization. The colonate system emerged, where formerly free peasants became permanently attached to landed estates, prefiguring medieval serfdom. In urban areas, the children of skilled slave craftsmen often continued their parents' professions as free workers, leading to the development of hereditary occupational guilds. Environmental challenges also tested the Roman economy. Deforestation near major cities created fuel shortages and forced the development of more distant supply chains. Soil exhaustion in intensively farmed regions required the development of new agricultural techniques and the opening of new farming areas. Climate fluctuations could cause crop failures that reverberated throughout the economic system. The Romans responded to environmental challenges with technological and organizational innovations. They developed more efficient farming methods, created sophisticated systems for managing water resources, and established complex networks for transporting basic commodities from distant regions. However, environmental degradation remained a persistent challenge, particularly in densely populated areas. Financial crises periodically struck the Roman economy, often triggered by political instability or military setbacks. These crises could lead to bank failures, credit freezes, and widespread commercial disruption. The government sometimes responded by providing emergency loans or debt relief, though such interventions could create moral hazard problems and encourage risky financial behavior. The challenge of maintaining economic unity across diverse regions led to increasing regionalization over time. Different parts of the empire developed distinct economic patterns, with some areas becoming more self-sufficient while others maintained stronger commercial connections. This trend accelerated in the later empire, contributing to the eventual emergence of separate Eastern and Western economic spheres. These challenges and adaptations demonstrate both the resilience and the vulnerability of complex economic systems. The Roman experience offers valuable lessons about the importance of monetary stability, the challenges of managing large-scale economic networks, and the need for flexible adaptation to changing circumstances. Their successes and failures in addressing these challenges continue to resonate with modern economic concerns. The Roman Empire's economic challenges ultimately contributed to its transformation and eventual fragmentation in the West, while the Eastern Empire successfully adapted to create the long-lasting Byzantine economic system. This historical example illustrates how economic challenges can drive fundamental social and political changes, reshaping societies in lasting ways. The Roman Empire's economic legacy resonates powerfully through the centuries, its innovations and systems continuing to influence modern economic practices in profound and often surprising ways. The economic frameworks established by Rome created enduring patterns that would shape the development of European and global commerce for millennia to come. The Roman system of standardized currency stands as one of its most significant and lasting contributions to economic history. The concept of a unified monetary system, with carefully regulated weights and measures, provided a model that would influence countless subsequent civilizations. The Roman denarius became so trusted that it continued to be accepted in trade long after the empire's fall, and the very word dollar derives from thaler, which itself was based on Roman currency standards. The Roman practice of marking coins with authority symbols and standardized imagery established precedents still visible in modern currency design. Rome's complex trade networks established patterns of commerce that would persist through the Middle Ages and into the modern era. Many modern European trade routes follow paths first established by Roman merchants, while numerous modern commercial centers, from London to Lyon, began as Roman trading posts. The Roman model of integrated markets and specialized production regions provided a template for later economic development, demonstrating how diverse areas could be united into a single commercial sphere. In banking and finance, Roman innovations laid the groundwork for modern practices. The Roman system of deposit banking, money changing, and credit provision established basic patterns that would be revived and expanded by medieval Italian bankers. Concepts like promissory notes, maritime insurance, and investment partnerships all have roots in Roman commercial practice. The Roman understanding of interest rates and financial risk assessment provided foundational principles for modern banking theory. Perhaps most significantly, Rome's development of commercial law created legal frameworks that continue to influence modern business practices. The Roman concept of contract law, with its emphasis on mutual obligation and good faith, forms the basis of modern commercial legal systems. Roman legal principles regarding property rights, business partnerships, and corporate entities established precedents that would shape the development of modern business law. The Roman approach to public finance and economic administration also left lasting legacies. Their systems of public works funding, tax collection, and state contracting provided models that influenced governmental economic management for centuries. The Roman practice of public-private partnerships in major infrastructure projects continues to influence modern approaches to development projects. Agricultural innovations developed during the Roman period had lasting impacts on European farming practices. Roman techniques for crop rotation, soil management, and agricultural organization influenced farming methods well into the medieval period and beyond. The Roman villa system, with its integration of agricultural production and estate management, influenced the development of medieval manorialism and later agricultural enterprises. The Roman approach to urban economic organization established patterns that would influence city development for centuries. Their system of specialized commercial districts, regulated markets, and urban supply networks provided models for medieval and early modern cities. Many modern European cities still bear the imprint of Roman commercial organization in their layout and economic structure. Rome's management of long-distance trade and complex supply chains demonstrated possibilities that wouldn't be fully realized again until the modern era. Their sophisticated systems for managing information flow, coordinating deliveries, and maintaining quality standards across vast distances provided lessons that remain relevant to modern global commerce. The empire's monetary crises and responses to economic challenges also left important historical lessons. Their experiences with currency debasement, inflation, and financial instability have served as cautionary tales and learning opportunities for subsequent societies facing similar challenges. The Roman experience demonstrates both the possibilities and pitfalls of managing large-scale economic systems. Roman economic practices also influenced social organization in lasting ways. Their systems of professional colleges and guilds provided models for medieval craft organizations. Their approaches to managing labor, organizing production, and structuring commercial relationships influenced subsequent economic social structures. Even Rome's ultimate economic challenges and transformations provide valuable historical lessons. The ways in which the empire adapted to changing circumstances, managed crises, and eventually transformed its economic systems, offer insights into how complex economies evolve and adapt over time. This rich economic legacy persisted through various channels: through the Byzantine Empire's preservation of Roman economic practices, through the medieval church's adaptation of Roman administrative systems, and through the rediscovery of Roman legal and commercial principles during the Renaissance. The Roman economic model thus served not only as a historical example, but as an active influence on the development of modern economic systems. The enduring impact of Roman economic innovations demonstrates how fundamental economic practices can transcend their original context to influence subsequent civilizations. Many features of our modern global economy, from standardized currency to complex legal frameworks for international trade, can trace their roots back to Roman practices, making the study of Roman economics relevant not just for historical understanding, but for insights into contemporary economic challenges and solutions. The economic legacy of the Roman Empire stands as a testament to human ingenuity and organizational capability, demonstrating that the foundations of great civilizations rest not merely on military might, but on the sophisticated integration of commerce, finance, and social structures. As we conclude our exploration of this remarkable economic system, several profound insights emerge about the nature of successful economies and their role in shaping human civilization. The Roman economic system achieved something unprecedented in human history: the creation of an integrated market spanning 3 continents, operating under standardized currency, laws, and commercial practices. This achievement wasn't just about the movement of goods or the accumulation of wealth. It represented a fundamental transformation in how human societies could organize themselves and interact across vast distances and diverse cultures. What makes the Roman economic model particularly remarkable is its ability to function effectively without modern technology. Using nothing more sophisticated than written records and human messengers, the Romans coordinated complex supply chains, managed sophisticated financial transactions, and maintained price stability across thousands of miles. This achievement highlights the importance of robust institutional frameworks and well-designed systems in economic success. The Romans demonstrated that economic power, when properly harnessed, can be a more effective tool for maintaining empire than military might alone. Their system of economic integration created bonds between different regions that often proved stronger than political allegiance. Trade routes became channels not just for goods but for ideas, technologies, and cultural exchange, creating a degree of interconnectedness that would not be seen again until the modern era. Perhaps the most enduring lesson from the Roman economic experience is the importance of adaptability and resilience in economic systems. Throughout their history, the Romans faced numerous challenges, from currency crises to supply chain disruptions, from labor shortages to environmental degradation. Their success in adapting to these challenges, though not universal, provides valuable insights for modern economic management. The Roman emphasis on practical innovation rather than theoretical economic understanding offers an important perspective on economic development. They created sophisticated financial instruments, complex trading networks, and advanced manufacturing techniques not through abstract economic theory, but through practical problem-solving and incremental improvement. This pragmatic approach to economic development continues to offer relevant lessons for modern economies. The Roman experience also demonstrates the crucial relationship between economic stability and social cohesion. Their system of trade guilds, professional associations, and social mobility through commerce created structures that bound society together while facilitating economic activity. These social economic bonds proved remarkably durable, often outlasting political structures, and continuing to influence medieval European society long after the empire's fall. Looking at the Roman economy from our modern perspective, we can see many parallels with contemporary challenges: managing complex supply chains, maintaining monetary stability, balancing free enterprise with state control, and dealing with environmental impacts of economic activity. The Roman solutions to these challenges, while not directly applicable to our modern world, offer valuable insights into the fundamental nature of economic problems and potential approaches to solving them. The ultimate transformation and fragmentation of the Roman economic system also provides important lessons about the vulnerability of even the most sophisticated economic arrangements. The gradual breakdown of Roman economic integration reminds us that economic systems require constant maintenance and renewal, and that the benefits of economic integration cannot be taken for granted. As we face our own economic challenges in the 21st century, the Roman example reminds us that economic success requires more than just technological capability or financial sophistication. It requires careful attention to the institutional frameworks that support commerce, the social structures that facilitate exchange, and the physical infrastructure that enables trade. The Romans achieved their economic miracle through a combination of practical innovation, systematic organization, and adaptable institutions, principles that remain relevant today. The echoes of Rome's economic colossus continue to resonate in our modern world, not just in specific practices or institutions, but in the very concept of how complex economies can be organized and managed. Their achievement in creating an integrated, sophisticated economic system without modern technology stands as both an inspiration and a challenge to our understanding of what makes economies work. In studying the Roman economy, we gain not just historical knowledge, but practical insights into the timeless challenges of organizing human economic activity on a large scale. Their successes and failures, innovations and adaptations, continue to offer valuable lessons for anyone seeking to understand how economies function and how they might be better managed in the future.